Kyle, this week you snapped a personal goal drought, and now you've gotten two in two games. What's the mentality for you personally to kind of battle through this, where you might be feeling good about your game, but the goals and numbers just aren't there?
Um, yeah, this game, it's a funny game sometimes. You have some highs and lows in terms of points, and then, they go away and they come in bunches. And I think just trying to help the team win however I can. That's always been my mentality all season long here, no matter what role I'm put in. Obviously, playing with the guys that I'm playing with, I'm expected to score. So, I've just been trying to make sure that I'm doing the right things offensively, getting to the net and making smart plays. So right now it's nice they're going in, but obviously, I got to keep being in the right place at the right time and trying to make things happen, but be on the right side of pucks as well and play good defense.
Yeah, speaking of the guys that you've been playing with, Taro Rossi and Yatin Berger, and that's a line that's seen a lot of success early on this season, and you guys are heating up again. Talk about what it's like to have Taro back from Detroit and kind of just how the three of you approach your game in all three zones.
Yeah, it's I've played most of the season with Taro, so I feel like we understand each other quite a bit on the ice, and Bergie's just been getting more and more confident as the year has gone on and making some really good plays out there. So for me, it's fun. I'm just trying to get the puck back and get into those guys' hands and do a little bit of the dirty work for them. And yeah, having Taco back definitely, helps us, 5-on-5, but also on the power play and making things happen. You saw tonight making a great pass to Bergie there to give us the lead. So yeah, both of those guys, great players, and we get along well on the bench and can talk through things. So it's fun to have those hockey minds with me.
And finally, for me, on Wednesday, Coach said that you're the kind of guy who does everything right and spoke highly of your work ethic. And as we get down the stretch, do you think that kind of effort and compete is really going to characterize the identity of this team?
Absolutely. I mean, I think you look at the way that we've had to play to win games this season. We're not blowing teams out. Obviously, in Toronto, it was a little bit of a shootout, but all season long, it's been tight games for us, and we've relied a lot on our goaltending and our defense. And I think that's going to be the recipe for success here coming down the stretch. We just got to keep bearing down and understand that every game is a must-win for us at this point. So hopefully, we can get hot at the right time, and anything can happen in playoffs. Sneak in as the 5 seed, and if we're rolling, it could be a fun run here.
That's it for me. Thanks, Kyle.
Hey Kyle, from the intensity to the physicality of this game, it looked like it had a playoff atmosphere kind of from the start. Do you feel that the grit that you guys showed, the physicality you matched with, is what it's going to take down the stretch, night in, night out, to make sure you lock up that 5 seed as you were talking about?
Absolutely. I mean, you look up and down our lineup. We don't have the biggest roster. We don't have towering guys that tower over the other team. So we're gonna have to play, a team game, and we're gonna have to stick up for each other. We're gonna have to have all five guys in the fight every time we're on the ice, and that's what we're talking about right now. It's kind of every battle is important, and we need to stick up for each other when someone gets hit on the other end, and make sure that we're using our shoulder pads on our side too.
And you were talking about getting off to better starts, and playing with more intensity, more physicality. This one seemed to be a playoff game, with the way it looked. But do you love the way your team played from start to finish? And is that the type of hockey you need to see down the stretch?
Well, I liked our energy in the first period. I liked our execution of what we wanted to do in terms of just playing simple and generating some more offense. And it was evident that the guys did a pretty good job of that. And the compete was there. I think the refs did a good job. They let a few calls go both ways, and I think that they did a pretty good job of letting the players decide the game tonight. And but overall, from start to finish, I thought very competitive both ways. I thought it was a good hockey game to watch.
Kyle mentioned how the team needs to be a little bit more physical, and he said we have to use our shoulder pads too. Basically that we just can't get out toughed and pushed around. Do you like the way that your guys answered that? They didn't back down from a lot of the physical challenges that Iowa was throwing at you.
No, well, they've got a couple of big bodies back there. Their fourth line, we'll call it their fourth line, is Baddock, Turgeon, and Cody McLeod, who's a legitimate former NHL tough guy. So they play heavy, and then they've got a good blend of skill with the other lines. So I think that team is very structured. I think that they play hard, and I thought that we matched up fairly well against them. And if they're fighting for a playoff spot and we're in the same conversation as them, let's see what happens next game and see where the chips fall in the next 6 games.
And this is my last question for you. Earlier this week, I asked you about Berggren and how he's been your leading scorer. Hasn't slowed down, didn't hit that wall that some young prospects do. Is he, I don't want to say standing out, but it seems that even though the other team knows he's a top offensive threat, he's still finding ways to score. Are you impressed with that aspect, that even though the other teams are focusing on him, he's still getting his?
No, I think that Jonathan's playing with confidence, and that's a huge thing, both when you have it and when you don't. So, again, playing with the confidence he has, and the other thing about his personality, his demeanor, is he doesn't let a lot get to him. So, sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a bad thing, and right now it's working for him. So, a couple shifts, getting pucks out in the D zone was an issue, not only for him but a few other guys. Second period, we got hemmed in our own end for a little bit with poor puck management and wall play, but I think for the most part, I think Jonathan did a pretty good job tonight.
Coach, obviously this is going to be a tight one with Iowa, considering where both teams are in the standings. When you have a group of guys in the locker room that work hard and grind night in, night out, how do you really challenge them to find another gear in a big game like this?
Well, when you go through a season, you've got your ebbs and your flows, and you win big games, you lose heartbreaking ones throughout the course of a season. But I think when you break it down now and you look at it, there's in the regular season 3.5 weeks left, 3 weeks left. We've got 6 games left, so it's really make a choice. It's decide. Everyone's sitting. That's what we talked about. Everyone wants to make the playoffs. Everyone wants to play in the postseason. You want to win a champion, but how much are you going to do to get that one? And we just talked about having to earn it. And I think tonight was a good game for both sides of, earning your opportunities, earning your ice time. And I think that in general, I think for 60 minutes, we did a pretty good job of earning it and competing.
Victor Bradstrom had another big game tonight, and all season he's worked with and learned from a vet in this league in Cal Pickard, and he's grown into a guy that this team can really depend on down the stretch. And what have you seen from him, from the early season struggles into the confidence and solid play we've seen from him lately?
Again, I keep going back to confidence, and for Victor, he's had a little bit of an up and down season, especially at the beginning of the season, but I think that he's shown pretty good mental fortitude and pretty good resilience in his game and his belief in himself. So, obviously when Picks went down, he's been out for a while. He's taken the ball and run with it, and maybe he wants a few periods back, a few games back, but overall I think he's responded well. He's accountable to himself, and I think he's got a good self-evaluation of his game and what he wants and what he wants to accomplish. So I think having that ability to assess his own game and be accountable to himself and to his teammates, I think is one of his biggest attributes.
That's it for me. Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
Batting cleanup, Alec Giannakopoulos.
Coach, you mentioned the importance of your guys buying in these last couple of games of the season. What does it say about your squad being able to hang through the highs and lows and still be able to compete and perform when they most need to?
I mean, at the end of the day, this is what we're paid to do. I mean, this is your job. So you have to show up and compete. Pro sports is not easy. If it were easy, there'd be a lot more people doing it. Pro hockey's not easy. It's tough. It's hard. But at the end of the day, it's still the best job in the world. So I think taking a step back, nothing's given to you here. You got to earn it. And I think the guys, when you have good playoff runs, when you're part of winning teams, that can prolong your career as an individual. People want winners. People want to be part. They want successful people in their organizations, really in any facet of life, in any business. You want to surround yourself with successful people. So, when you realize that, and you do the little things to help a team succeed, that's when you have success as individuals and groups. And I think that our guys can sense that, and we're in desperation mode. We have to make sure that we're competing every shift, every period, and being accountable being dependable to each other, and being accountable to each other, to ourselves.